But you're not going to act anymore?
No.
Huh. Why is that?
Anybody can say something stupid, but for actors who had bad interviews, saying the wrong thing came back to bite them in a big way. When it comes to celebrities who ruined their careers in seconds, one rough interview was enough to send them into the Hollywood wilderness for a while, if not for good.
You know, you're on two ends of the spectrum.
Wow. And then what? What's the cure? Medicine? Make me like them?
Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox are just two actors who had bad interviews. They both made the poor decision to go after their directors behind the camera, which is hardly ever a good idea. Both Steven Spielberg and Michael Bay have found enough success in the industry to deserve more respect than those actors publicly gave them.
People's trust. I do. And they are feeling disrespected.
There are plenty more one-time or almost stars who set themselves back with a little too much candor on the record. Megan Fox became an instant Hollywood starlet after landing the franchise role of a lifetime in Michael Bay's 2007 blockbuster Transformers. A couple of the great aspects about starring in a big-budget box office draw like Transformers is that a lot of people are going to see the movie, and there are going to be more Transformers movies to follow. It's guaranteed work that will only lead to bigger paydays and more exposure. There is an old wise saying, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." Fox ignored the adage and completely lost her filter. During a 2009 interview with Wonderland magazine, the actress was asked about what it was like to work with Michael Bay on Transformers. She should have probably complimented her boss during a public interview, but instead took a vastly different approach. She said, "He's like Napoleon, and he wants to create this insane, infamous, madman reputation. He wants to be like Hitler on his sets, and he is. So he's a nightmare to work for, but when you get him away from set..."
I mean, I would confirm that it was romantic. I love him. I've never been like really quiet about that. I love him.
Yeah. So it was
he has no social skills at all, and it's endearing to watch him. He's vulnerable and fragile in real life, and then on set, he's a tyrant. Shia and I almost die when we make a Transformers movie. He has you do some really insane things that insurance would never let you do. Transformers executive producer and all-around Hollywood bigwig, Steven Spielberg reportedly did not take kindly to the actress comparing Bay to the Third Reich leader. He told Bay to fire Fox from Transformers 3, which means she also missed out on the opportunity to star in the franchise's fourth and fifth installments. Since her Michael Bay bashing, Fox's career has been reduced to supporting roles in movies like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the straight-to-video family comedy Think Like a Dog. She also had a recurring supporting role in the TV sitcom New Girl, Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen became the highest-paid actor on television when he starred in the popular sitcom 2.5 Men. Sheen's movie career was pretty much dried up in 2003 when 2.5 Men first aired. The fact that he found that level of success on the small screen that was laid into the game should have been enough for the old Hollywood bad boy to appreciate his second act. Instead, Sheen's epic 2011 rant on the Alex Jones radio show has become the stuff of Hollywood legend.
Drug tests don't lie.
When was the last time you did drugs?
Don't remember, don't care. Drug tests don't lie. The scoreboard doesn't lie.
This bootleg cult, arrogantly referred to as AA, now supports a 5% success rate. My success rate is 100%. Do the math. One of their stupid mottos is, "Don't be special, be one of us."
Okay, your passion is coming off as erratic to people.
Well, you borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, "Dude, can't handle it. Unplug this bastard."
Well, you don't look like you're having a lot of fun. I'm going to hang out with these two smoking hotties and fly privately around the world. It might be lonely up here, but I sure like the view. I'm so tired of pretending like my life isn't perfect and beaching and just winning every second. I'm not perfect and beaching and just delivering the goods at every fucking turn. Because look what I'm dealing with, man. I'm dealing with fools and trolls. I'm dealing with soft targets. Maybe Sheen's career could have survived that very odd self-promotion. However, his remarks against his boss, 2.5 Men creator Chuck Lorre, were not going to go unpunished. "I embarrassed him, Lorre, in front of his children and the world by healing at a pace that this unevolved mind cannot process," said Sheen. "I've spent, I think, close to the last decade, I don't know, effortlessly and magically converting your tin cans into pure gold. And the gratitude I get is this charlatan chose not to do his job, which is to write. Laurie fired Sheen from the show. Ashton Kutcher stepped in as a replacement for Sheen's character and co-starred alongside John Cryer the following season. The sitcom stayed at the top of the ratings until the series finale in 2015. Alex Pettyfer. As a rising star in Hollywood, it's generally not advisable to publicly criticize the city that fuels your career. However, in 2011, English actor Alex Pettyfer did just that. Following his notable roles in I Am Number 4 and Stormbreaker, Pettyfer's career seemed promising.
Everywhere the next couple months.
I don't know, man. It's overwhelming. It's daunting.
Describing it as an insidious pool and socially disgusting. He also made some disparaging remarks about the women living there and compared acting to being incarcerated. This, combined with rumors of being challenged to work with, led to stagnation in his career. Big-budget productions began to seek talent elsewhere, and Pettyfer's once promising trajectory lost momentum. John Mayer. John Mayer was one of the best-selling pop artists at the turn of the 21st century. The guitar god racked up a slew of Grammy Awards and sold out concerts around the world. Then Mayer sat down for an extended interview with Playboy magazine in 2010. The guitarist didn't make just one disastrous comment during the interview. He made several, any of which could have derailed his music career. Mayer dissed his ex-girlfriend, aka America's sweetheart, Jennifer Aniston. He said that she was hoping it goes back to 1998. Mayer also went in the sexual TMI direction when talking about another one of his ex-girlfriends, Jessica Simpson. He said of their love life, "Sexually, it was crazy. It was like napalm, sexual napalm."
Probably 4-to-1, women to men, in terms of solo artists. And I think that was when I really saw.
I would start selling all my shirty just to keep fucking you. But wait, there's more. He expressed casually racist sentiments by sprinkling the N-word several times throughout the interview and comparing his member to David Duke. Mayer was bashed for his comments, especially on social media, causing the singer-songwriter to apologize for his comments. He tweeted an apology regarding his use of the N-word. "It was arrogant of me to think I could intellectualize using it because I realized that there's no intellectualizing a word that is so emotionally charged." His music career was never quite the same, but neither is the music industry as a whole. He has found a nice second life playing lead guitar for the still frequently touring Grateful Dead. Liam Neeson. During a movie promotion, Liam Neeson shared a personal anecdote that sparked widespread controversy on social media. Decades prior, a friend had confided in Neeson about being assaulted. Upon learning the perpetrator was a black man, Neeson admitted to having harbored a desire for revenge, seeking out a confrontation with a random black person. Neeson acknowledged the wrongdoing of his past actions and expressed deep-seated shame. He emphasized that his upbringing and the time period contributed to his misguided reaction. Reactions to Neeson's story were highly polarized. Some people labeled him a racist, while others, including Trevor Noah and Whoopi Goldberg, commended his candor. Although the controversy didn't irreparably damage his career, it undoubtedly marked a significant turning point in how the public perceives him. Shia LaBeouf. It's easy to forget just how on fire Shia LaBeouf's career was in the mid-2000s. In 2007, he starred in Michael Bay's first Transformers movie, which went on to be a box office giant and spawned 4 additional films. In 2008, the actor joined yet another monster franchise when he starred as Indiana Jones's son in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. LaBeouf was everywhere, but he had a lot of growing up to do under the Hollywood spotlight. In reality, the Honey Boy star could have potentially derailed his career following a slew of run-ins with the law. The actor has been taken into custody multiple times. The charges include disorderly conduct, public intoxication, misdemeanor battery, and drunk driving. He was also accused of plagiarizing material from Daniel Crowe's 2007 comic book Justin M. Damiano for his 2013 short film HowardCantor.com. But this is Hollywood. Stars are forgiven all the time for drinking too much and behaving badly. However, dissing a Hollywood legend like Steven Spielberg, especially when he's your boss, is never going to end well. LaBeouf may have been right when he criticized Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The movie did receive mixed reviews, but still managed to be a giant box office hit. The young actor took a giant swing at Spielberg and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull during a 2008 interview with the Los Angeles Times, saying,
phone to get your stuff that's going on in your house, or OnStar, they could shut your car down. And he told me that 1 in 5 phone calls.
Then why do they trust you the next time you're promoting a movie? I'll probably get a call, LaBeouf added, but Spielberg needs to hear this. I love him. I love Steven. I have a relationship with Steven that supersedes our business work. And believe me, I talk to him often enough to know that I'm not out of line, and I would never disrespect the man. I think he's a genius, and he's given me my whole life. He's done so much great work that there's no need for him to feel vulnerable about one film. But when you drop the ball, you drop the ball. LaBeouf went even further during an interview with Variety in 2016. I don't like the movies that I made with Spielberg, LaBeouf said. The only movie that I liked that we made together was Transformers 1. You get there, and you realize you're not meeting the Spielberg you dream of, LaBeouf added. You're meeting a different Spielberg, Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison, the face of the Bachelor franchise for 19 years, saw his career crashing down in 2021. During an interview with former Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay, Harrison defended contestant Rachel Kirkconnell over photos of her attending a plantation-themed party. Harrison's comments were perceived as dismissive of the criticism, referring to it as the woke police. He questioned whether attending such a party was problematic in 2018, implying that societal standards had changed by 2021. The backlash was immediate and severe. Rachel Lindsay announced her departure from the franchise, and Harrison was initially suspended before being fired. The controversy highlighted the insensitivity of Harrison's comments, with many emphasizing that attending plantation-themed parties is unacceptable in any era. Vincent Gallo. Vincent Gallo made an immediate impact in the independent film world in 1998 with his breakthrough Buffalo 66. Gallo directed, wrote, and starred in The Sundance Darling. He seemed on his way to becoming the next great young American filmmaker. Gallo had a history of speaking without a filter. However, his public remarks regarding beloved actress Christina Ricci just may have been the nail in the coffin in his young Hollywood career. Gallo spoke with a New York Post Page 6 columnist in 2000. The columnist brought up Ricci, who starred alongside Gallo in Buffalo 66. It was okay when she wasn't drunk on the set. I think she's an alcoholic. It was either that or she was on cough syrup the whole time, said Gallo. Gallo wasn't done criticizing Ricci. I don't like her, he added. She's an ungrateful cunt. But it was okay. She's basically a puppet. I told her what to do, and she did it. Ricci has, of course, gone on to have a nice working career in Hollywood. Gallo directed 3 more feature films, none of which were distributed nationally or received much attention. Critic Roger Ebert called his 2003 film, The Brown Bunny, the worst movie in the history of Cannes. Paula Deen. Paula Deen, once a beloved figure in the culinary world, specializing in Southern cooking, saw her reputation crumble in 2013. A lawsuit and deposition revealed Deen's use of racial slurs and her interest in hosting a plantation-themed wedding. The public backlash was swift and intense. During an uncomfortable interview on Today, Deen attempted to position herself as a victim, stating, "If there's anyone out there who has never said something they wish they could take back."
That has never said something that they wish they could take back.
She referenced a prior apology video but failed to convey genuine remorse for her actions.
I beg for your forgiveness.
As a result, sponsors and companies severed ties with Deen, leading to a significant decline in her public presence. Her inability to acknowledge and apologize sincerely for her mistakes ultimately led to her fade into obscurity. Katherine Heigl. Katherine Heigl became the early breakout star in Shonda Rhimes' wildly successful ensemble medical drama, Grey's Anatomy. After 6 seasons as Dr. Izzy Stevens, the actress asked to be released from her contract, even though the drama was still at the top of the ratings. Actors leave popular shows for all kinds of reasons. Heigl made it clear that she was not happy with the writers when she publicly withdrew her name from Emmy Awards consideration because she didn't think her character had provided enough award-worthy drama. The actress was also tagged with the difficult-to-work-with label. Heigl starred in the 2007 Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow hit romantic comedy Knocked Up. Her star power and talent were undeniable. The actress was well on her way to becoming Hollywood's new favorite big-screen leading lady. However, that role turned into another case of an actress biting the hand that feeds her. During a 2008 interview with Vanity Fair, Heigl criticized Knocked Up. She said, "It was a little sexist. It paints the women as shrews, as humorless and uptight, and it paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys."
To be honest right now, I'm not. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. I'm not a rude person. I'm not an unkind.
Why is she being such a killjoy? Why is this how you're portraying women? 98% of the time, it was an amazing experience, but it was hard for me to love the movie. The backlash was immediate. Rogen and Apatow may make fun, lighthearted comedies, but they are still two of the biggest power players in Hollywood. Rogen was especially hurt by Heigl's comments. He described how he felt about the actress's negative, knocked-up remarks during a 2016 interview with Howard Stern. "People seemed to like it," he said. "We were funny together. I was having a really good time. And then when I heard afterward that she didn't like it, that she seemed to not like the process, and she did not like the end product either, I think when that happens, also your trust feels somewhat betrayed." Heigl's career never got back to its mid-2000s success. She tried starring in a couple of her own television series. However, both of her efforts, State of Affairs and Doubt, failed to last more than a single season. Rogen recognized how much Heigl's comments hurt her career and eventually began to sympathize with his former co-star. "I respect the fact that perhaps she realizes that it has hurt her career, and I don't want that to have happened to her at all, because I've said 1,000 stupid things and I really like her," Rogen told Howard Stern. "The only people who in this situation should, in any way, take anything from it is me and Judd, because we're the ones she was talking about. For other people not to work with her because she didn't like her experience with us, I think it is crazy." Giuliana Rancic. Giuliana Rancic, a prominent figure on E! News and Fashion Police, sparked outrage in 2015 with her critique of Zendaya's dreadlocks at the Oscars. Rancic's remarks, which included a comment about Zendaya's hair smelling of patchouli oil and weed, were met with widespread criticism. Zendaya responded with a thoughtful and scathing critique, calling out Rancic for her ignorance and racism. Rancic apologized on social media and in an interview with Access Hollywood, claiming her joke was taken out of context. Despite her apology, the backlash led to Rancic stepping down from her role on E! News. Although she briefly returned in 2018, she struggled to regain her former influence in the entertainment industry. Joaquin Phoenix. In 2009, Joaquin Phoenix's career was a hit after a bizarre appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. Phoenix, donning sunglasses and a bushy beard, gave awkward and mumbling responses to Letterman's questions. The host even jokingly asked, "What can you tell us about your days with the Unabomber?" Unbeknownst to the media, Phoenix's behavior was an act for his mockumentary, I'm Still Here.
But you're not going to act anymore?
No.
Huh. Why is that?
However, the public and industry professionals believed he was having a breakdown. As a result, producers became wary of working with him, and the quality of scripts he received declined significantly. It took several critically acclaimed projects for Phoenix to revive his career. Despite the initial backlash, Phoenix has since become a multi-time Oscar nominee and winner, solidifying his position as a respected actor in Hollywood. Belle Gibson. In 2013, Australian wellness influencer Belle Gibson rose to fame with her mobile app, The Whole Pantry, and various cookbooks. Her seemingly perfect life began to unravel in 2015. However, when rumors surfaced that she had fabricated her claims of having cancer and donating to charity. Under intense scrutiny, Gibson confessed in the Australian Women's Weekly that she had indeed lied about her illness.
To people's trust.
I do. And they are feeling disrespected. They are feeling hurt.
Attributing her behavior to her troubled upbringing, her career promptly imploded. In 2017, Gibson was fined $410,000 for her deception. Despite this, she continued to make contentious claims, further tarnishing her reputation. The once promising wellness influencer had lost all credibility, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of dishonesty in the public eye. Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler, the talented actress who made her mark in the 2021 remake of West Side Story, found herself at the center of a maelstrom after being cast as the lead in the 2025 live-action adaptation of Snow White. During an interview with Variety at the D23 Expo, Zegler sparked outrage among fans of the original 1937 animated classic. She criticized the film's portrayal of women, specifically the idea that they dream of finding true love. Instead, Zegler emphasized the importance of female leadership and empowerment. Zegler's comments, combined with other controversies surrounding the film, significantly dampened the excitement for the live-action remake. Her vision for Snow White, where the protagonist dreams of becoming a leader rather than finding true love, was seen as a departure from the original story. Glenn Hoddle. In 1996, Glenn Hoddle, a former English midfielder, was appointed as the manager of the England national team. However, his tenure was short-lived due to a disastrous interview with The Times in 1999. While defending his relationship with faith healer Eileen Drury, Hoddle made remarks that implied disabled people were being punished for sins committed in a past life. The backlash was immediate and intense, with widespread condemnation from the public and demands for his dismissal. Just days later, Hoddle was sacked as England manager. Although he went on to hold other managerial and punditry roles, he never regained the same level of prestige and respect he had once enjoyed. Hoddle's thoughtless comments had irreparably damaged his reputation. John Rocker. In 1999, John Rocker, a relief pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, sparked outrage with his inflammatory remarks during an interview with Sports Illustrated. Rocker's comments were a toxic mix of xenophobia, homophobia, and insults aimed at various groups, including foreigners, the LGBTQIA+ community, and even his colleague Randall Simon. Rocker's tirade included a particularly egregious comment about the diversity of people in New York City, asking, "How the hell do they get in this country?" The backlash was swift and severe. The MLB suspended Rocker for a month and fined him, dealing a significant blow to his reputation. The controversy marked a turning point in Rocker's career. He was traded in 2001 and spent the next few years jumping between teams, making additional inflammatory statements before eventually retiring. Rocker's name became synonymous with intolerance and bigotry, earning him the dubious distinction of being the most hated man in New York City. Miles Teller. Miles Teller burst onto the Hollywood scene in Damien Chazelle's 2014 directorial debut Whiplash. Teller's method-like performance as a prodigal jazz drummer, challenged by an authoritarian bandleader, J.K. Simmons, set the actor on the path towards breakout status. Teller followed up Whiplash with the YA teen franchise Divergent. Despite Divergent never quite achieving Hunger Games-like success, it was still a commercially successful Hollywood film series. Teller didn't have the traditional matinee idol looks of a Hollywood leading man, but there was a charismatic presence that made him highly watchable on the big screen. Teller showed he could shine by playing both the strong independent film lead and a key cog in a blockbuster ensemble cast. However, a series of less than stellar performances in the interview department set back the young man on his path to superstardom. Even before Whiplash made him an Oscar contender, he put down his fellow actors during a 2014 interview with the New York Times. I feel like a lot of actors of my generation are not proper actors. I want to break out of that whole group of actors in their early 20s and really start to put stuff down that lets you know I take this seriously. During that same interview, Teller made a harsh remark about beloved 1980s leading man John Cusack. "I guess we look alike. We did some similar movies. He was a leading man that wasn't traditionally good-looking, who was offbeat and quirky, but confident. I get it, but I don't want his career." An interview with Anna Peel for the August 2015 edition of Esquire shifted the actor's reputation even more. Teller came off as arrogant and cocky during the interview by making inappropriate jokes and giving their waitress a hard time. Peel came away from the extended interview with the impression that Teller was kind of a dick. she addressed both the actor's undeniable talent and his general attitude in the piece, writing, "So yeah, he is kind of a doc. But the thing is, you agree with him. His admittedly limited body of work so far, his oeuvre, a word you define and spell for him, so who's the doc now, is pretty great." Teller's career didn't completely tank after those personality-revealing interviews. However, he had a run of box office bombs, including Fantastic Four, War Dogs, and Bleed for This. Luckily, Teller is still young and has room for growth. The reboot blockbuster Top Gun, Maverick, put him back in the limelight and hopefully shows he's learned a little Hollywood maturity along the way. Wilmer Valderrama. Howard Stern has a way of getting his celebrity radio guests to open up and talk about personal aspects of their life. Most of the time, the interviewee can find that sweet spot of being interesting, but also not revealing too much to the point that it may hurt their professional career. That 70s show actor Wilmer Valderrama definitely said too much during his March 2006 interview with Stern. It's one thing to talk about your love life. It's another thing to provide TMI details specifically about a romantic partner. Turns out that Valderrama was quite a ladies' man when he was at the height of his sitcom popularity during the late 1990s and early 2000s. His impressive list of gal pals included then pop star Mandy Moore. Valderrama claimed that he not only hooked up with Moore, who was a teenager when the two dated, but also took her virginity. The sex with Mandy was good, but it wasn't like warm apple pie, he said. 10 years later, Moore had her own sit-down with Stern. The pop star had grown into a successful actress and was in her mid-30s. She told Stern how much Valderrama's comments hurt her. "I dated him when I was 16 and 17, she said. "I love him and I still love him. And he's a very good friend. And that's why I was so shocked by it, because not only was it a fib, but it was so unlike him. It was so uncharacteristic." In fact, many of Valderrama's claims on Stern were later rebuffed. Valderrama rated his physical relationship with Jennifer Love Hewitt an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. Hewitt immediately fired back at the actor's allegation that they had been intimate. "I was told, that we had all these very steamy encounters, and I was like, really? Well, I would have loved to have been there," said Hewitt. In 2010, during an interview with Blog Talk Radio, Valderrama talked about how sorry he was for his comments on Stern's radio show. He also said that he apologized to Moore. Minnie Driver. Minnie Driver burst onto the Hollywood scene in 1997's Good Will Hunting. The English actress received an Academy Award nomination for her performance and seemed well on her way to becoming a Hollywood starlet. Driver co-starred in several films across the pond over the next few years. Her career was going smoothly until a 2002 interview with a Los Angeles newspaper that criticized Great Britain's national treasure, Dame Judi Dench. The actress may not have meant to be cruel regarding Dench's looks, but she certainly came off as callous. "In England, with all due respect, we have some of the plainest actresses in the entire world as our greatest," Driver said. "Maybe it is because theater is the great love of England, but you can have Judi Dench, a very small, round, middle-aged, lovely, mothering type, playing Cleopatra. The Brits love Dame Dench almost as much as they like their tea." The British press went after Driver, calling her the pushiest woman in Hollywood and venomous. Driver later spoke about just how much her comments affected her entire life. She said, "I've taken a pounding, and so has my family, my mom and dad, my sister. You have no idea what it's like. It's brutal, but it's like terrorism. You can't not do stuff because of dissent. It's when people make it personal, which I can't stop them from doing, but I'm also not going to let them stop me doing what I want. That's their mean, vindictive viciousness. But let me tell you, it never gets any easier. I hope to get to the point where if the donkey kicks you, you let it go, as opposed to carrying it around feeling awful for days and letting it affect the choices you make in your life." Driver stayed busy in the United States on both film and television, though she never scored another movie on par with Good Will Hunting. She did find some success on the small screen. One of her strongest roles came in playing Maya DeMeo for 4 seasons on the ABC sitcom Speechless.